Hello, everyone. My name is Igor Tomych, and I'm from DashDevs. And today I'm conducting interviews at Merchant Payment Ecosystem Berlin. And with me, David Parker, who is CEO of Polymath Consulting. Hello, David. How are you?
Hi, nice to meet you, and thanks for very much inviting me along here. It's been great.
Thank you. And it's a pleasure to have your mind because you are attending the conference. You are expressing a lot of experience and what you see on the market. And the first question maybe then,
Just old age, not experience.
but anyway, you have something to share with the audience, and I think it would be valuable for our listeners to find out what is going on, what is tickling the mind of the merchants.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of options right now. We see embedded finance, we see AI agentic protocols, we see stable coins coming. And what is your view? What is the real value for the merchants?
I think let's break them all down.
Yeah.
So, tokenization is the first thing you're hearing a lot about at the event. Tokenization, it's out there, it's having a dramatic effect. Merchants are adopting it, it's improving conversion rates. You know, that's a product and a feature of the now. It is having a bottom line impact as of today on the business and everything else. Then we can move to things like stable coins.
Yeah.
And that's great. That's a futuristic thing. Will it be relevant is even a question. You know, yes, maybe on the wholesale side, if you're moving big amounts of money around the place, but it's unlikely to be affecting the merchant on a day-to-day basis. Then we move to something like embedded finance. Now, embedded finance will be right for certain merchants. You know, if you've got, I don't know, a car salesmanship, you know, embedding loans to sell your car, it's logical. It makes total sense. If you're a merchant acquirer, embedding the account so that the merchant can get paid quicker, that makes sense. So individual bits of it will make sense for individual merchants. So really is when you ask that question, what's making sense? It really depends. So you mentioned tokenization, stablecoin,
AI agentic protocol.
AI agentic. Now that's the other big topic, of course, we've had here. I think the first thing I'd say is, you know, we've even heard talk of AI agentic orchestration.
Yeah.
There are 6 different protocols out there already. And
more than P&L in the merchant's
that's
lines.
right. And then on top of that, you've got the complications around, you know, all these protocols. It's something I would say is on the radar, but I'll give you a good example. I use ChatGPT for search a lot, so I'm sure you do.
Yeah.
It returns 2 things. Half the things are no longer stopped, they're out of date, and some of the sites are not even searchable. So I can't get live train times, I can't get live flight arrivals, I can't get Temu results. There's lots of sites that actually aren't set up even for agentic search even. And then finally, the way that, imagine I asked it to go and get me a black shirt, a black t-shirt. You're wearing a gray one, a gray t-shirt. Okay, so the way a human would go is it would go onto the website, look at the first one, might be open up the second and third. The way agentic works is it goes out to everyone simultaneously. Well, hang on a minute, that's the same pattern as the fraudster.
Yeah.
So, okay, so how is that site going to know it's agentic and not a fraudster? So there's a lot of complications and things to be addressed, but it will have a big impact. But remember this, it's going to have a big impact in multiple ways. So if you went to look for your gray t-shirt, maybe that lovely gray jacket caught your eye and you'd buy it at the same time. You'd browse. No. ChatGPT doesn't do that. It says, you told me to buy a gray t-shirt, I'm buying a gray t-shirt. I know your size, I know when you want it delivered, that's it, and then I'm out. I'm in, out, done. So it's going to have a major impact for retailers, but how long until that really starts to have a big impact? 3 to 5 years, but let's see.
And I think you said agentic e-commerce coming as a layer on top of the existing payment rails. And I think it's kind of the trouble because the current payment rail is thinking and centric for the human, especially with the second factor authentication and things like that.
You summed it up beautifully there, that there is an awful lot of challenges we still need to address in this whole agentic commerce world. There's the standards, there's how it searches, how you know it's agentic and not a fraudster, how you identify, by the way, that even it has my permission to buy that item.
Yeah.
You know, versus a fraudster coming in with an agentic where he's come inside. You know, there are huge issues, and it's not something we're going to be solving in the next 3-6 months. I really don't believe that.
It's long term.
And also, there are certain things you're never going to use agentic for. You know, that person searching for a holiday, great, I want to search and browse. On the other hand, by the way, a businessman who wants to get from here to Southampton or London is going to say, right, get me the next flight. I want to fly tomorrow morning. I want to leave by 10 o'clock. You know what seats I like. Just source it for me. I don't need to be, I mean, I'll give you the best one. I still am waiting for the agentic that can sort out my Avios miles. I mean, Avios are worth less than toilet paper. Toilet paper is useless because you can't use your Avios miles. I can't wait till I have an agentic that can basically search and say, right, the flights became available 2 o'clock this morning. I've booked it all up for you because I knew that's what you wanted. Great. So there will be use cases, but will also some of these companies want agentic? Will they enable it? Do they want to enable it? Because suddenly, if I've got agentic and book my Avios miles, suddenly they can get a lot more redemption. Now, maybe they won't like that.
Maybe. Because always the psychological like barriers, they helps for certain type of business, like the well-known unsubscription only by the phone number. Lots of companies have been even sued for that because putting the barriers and kind of protecting the business with the extra steps from customers is everyone understand that what is done for. So agentic might be an issue with that because then you can have better frequency and better turnaround between I want to change something and I able to change something.
Exactly.
Okay, that makes sense. And then another question that I have for you is about European payment system, because I think there is, and what is your view, what we can learn as European payment systems from emerging markets, because they have totally different, or at least different structure in terms of the prepaid cards, e-money, even usage of the phone numbers. Like if you take a look on Africa.
Yeah,
and
but that's
Pasco.
M-Pesa. Okay, fine. Okay, right. We've got to think about markets at different stages.
Yeah.
And therefore different things suit different markets. Let's be blunt.
That's fair.
You know, I worked in Vietnam in '94, just after it opened up. There wasn't a single supermarket there. But by the way, I had to get 5 bars on my phone in a cellar in the city center because there was no fixed landline. So
Yeah,
they
because
absolutely went
they switched.
overboard on, they jumped landlines, went straight. So they jumped a lot of things.
Yeah.
So I do believe no one market is the same. This is not the first time I talk about it. Europe misses a single, or each country, most countries haven't got a single brand for open banking.
Yes.
UK doesn't, Scandinavia does, but France and, you know, there's a need for open banking to be branded as such and have a scheme around it. And I've always believed that for consumers to adopt it and understand it. But no, when you talk about different stages, different markets, every market is always going to be unique. We've seen different things being pushed by regulators in Brazil, you know, with PicPay and stuff. So, you know, there's no one size fits all. And if anything, I would say globally, we are moving to a more fragmented payment system, not a less fragmented payment system. We're moving to a more uniform system for international when you travel, but fragmented on domestic.
That's fair. Thank you, David, for sharing your thoughts today. It
Thank
was a
you very
pleasure
much.
to have a conversation.
Much
Thank you.
appreciated.